Good morning, guys. Welcome to this session to learn about DC generators, which is under Model 4. So, in this model, under DC generator, you have the construction details of a DC generator, whether it is a DC generator or the DC motor, the construction is same. So, you can say it is a construction of a DC machine. The DC generator principle of operation, the expression for the induced EMF. Generator is the electrical machine which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy, since the output is electrical energy. So what is the expression for the induced EMF you are going to derive for that, and what are the different types of DC generators available, and what is the relationship between the induced EMF and the terminal voltage. So all these things you are going to learn in this chapter. What is a DC generator? DC generator is an electrical machine which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. When a machine which converts electrical into mechanical, we are calling it as a motor. The one which converts mechanical to electrical energy, we are calling this as a DC generator. So the DC generator consists of, before we go learn what is the working principle, we'll see what is the construction, so you can in better way understand how it's working. So you have the yoke or the frame or your mechanical support, this one yoke, the outer part you can see, and you can see that magnets are fixed. So around the magnet, electromagnet, you can see the field winding here. This is called as a poles. So it is nothing but the pole shoe, this one pole shoe. You have the commutator, and you have the armature conductor, you have the field pole, north south, it is marked, no, it is field pole. Around the field you have the field winding. So you have the outer frame. So there are two main components, or the major components, which is necessary to produce the EMF. One is nothing but the magnet, the field system. Another one is nothing but the armature. You have the armature inside. So here it is shown shaft. When the shaft is shown, you can see the armature is fixed on the shaft. So armature is the one which is rotating one. Here the field outer side, you can see the magnets are placed. So that is fixed to the yoke, that is the frame. So you can see here the field system is stationary here. So you can have either the field system as the stationary or the armature as the stationary one. For the simple machine, for a smaller size machine, people generally will go for armature as a rotating one, the moving one, and the field system as the stationary one. But for the larger construction, for the three-phase alternators, we'll keep the armature as the stationary one and the field system as the rotating one, which is preferred for many reasons. Here the construction details, you are going to see what is the magnetic field system you have. Under the magnetic field system, you have the magnetic frame and yoke, you have the pole core and pole shoes, you have the field or exciting coils, armature of a DC generator, armature core, armature winding. So there are two major parts, that is the magnetic field system, another one is armature. Under magnetic field system, what is the frame and yoke and the pole core and pole shoe, the field or the exciting coil, all with respect to the field system. Then the under armature, you have the armature of a DC generator, what is the armature core, the armature winding, and the one important component part in the DC generator, which is commutator, then brushes, we have the end housing, bearings, shaft, all these things you are going to see one by one. The magnetic field system is the stationary or the fixed part of the machine. Just now you have seen in the diagram the outer periphery, one fixed stationary magnetic system is available. It produces the main magnetic flux. The magnetic field system consists of main frame or the yoke, pole core and pole shoes, and field or exciting coils. You have the yoke, to the yokes you can see the pole core and pole shoes together as one, it is fixed to the yoke, and around surrounding the pole you can see the field or the exciting coil. First we'll see what is a magnetic frame. Only the magnetic frame is shown here, the outer part. It actually gives the mechanical support for the machine, and for the machine to it is a place for the machine to keep. That also you can say. The outer cover also you can say. The outer hollow cylindrical frame to which main poles and interpoles are fixed, and by means of which the machine is fixed to the foundation, is yoke. It is the outer frame to which the poles are fixed, and also the machine is fixed or installed or fixed to the foundation using this yoke. So it is made up of cast steel or the rolled steel for the large machines, and made up of cast iron or the smaller size machine. It is made up of cast iron. So the purpose of the magnetic frame or the yoke is nothing but it supports the pole cores and provides the mechanical protection to the inner parts of the machine, and also it provides a low reluctance path for the magnetic flux. Pole core and pole shoes. The pole core and pole shoes are fixed to the magnetic frame or yoke by bolts. Since the poles projected inwards, they are also called as the salient poles. Each pole core has a curved surface. You can see here the diagram, the pole core and the pole shoe. It has the curved surface. So using the bolts, this can be fixed to the yoke, that is the magnetic frame. Usually the pole core and shoes are made of thin cast steel or rough iron laminations which are riveted together under hydraulic pressure. The poles are laminated to reduce the eddy current loss. The pole core serves the following purposes. One is, it supports the field or the exciting coil. They spread out the magnetic flux over the armature periphery more uniformly. The purpose of the pole core, it supports the surrounding the core only, the what is that winding, the field winding is wound on the pole core. So for the coil or the exciting coil or the field coil or the field winding, it need a support. In the support only you can make the field coil to wind on the core. So pole core is the support. It supports the field or the exciting coil. They spread out the magnetic flux over the armature periphery more uniformly. It increases the cross-sectional area of the magnetic circuit. As a result, the reluctance of the magnetic path is reduced. Field or the exciting coils. Each pole core has one or more field coils placed over it, wound over it to produce the magnetic field. To produce a magnetic field, when you pass current into the coils, so magnetic flux will be produced surrounding the coil. So to produce the magnetic field, that field or the exciting coil is wound on the pole core. The enameled copper wire is used for the construction of field or the exciting coil. The coils wound on the former and then placed around the pole core. So instead of directly make the winding on the pole core, by looking at the size and the dimension, it is priorly wound, then it is fixed to the pole core. When the direct current passes through the field winding, it magnetizes the poles, which in turns produce the flux. So it is electromagnet we are using. So when current passes through the field winding, it magnetizes the poles. The field coils of all the poles are connected in series in such a way that when current flows through them, the adjacent poles attain opposite polarity. In such a way, it is connected together. The next comes the armature of a DC generator. Just see here the armature fixed to the shaft. From this you can conclude that, or you can say that the armature is the rotating part here, or the rotor here. Here also there are two different with the different dimensions rotors or the armature system is shown here. The rotating part of the DC machine or the DC generator is called the armature. The armature consists of a shaft upon which a laminated cylinder called armature core is placed. So armature core you can see here. only the core is shown here. The armature core of a DC generator is cylindrical in shape and key to the rotating shaft that is connected to the or placed above the or placed over the rotating shaft. At the outer periphery of the armature, you can see grooves or the slots where the conductors can be placed or the winding can be placed, so which accommodates the armature winding. The armature core of a DC generator serves the following purpose. Here also it is shown the armature core. The armature core is shown here. It houses the conductors in the slots. It provides an easy path for the magnetic flux. These are the two main purpose of the armature core. Armature winding. You can see here this with the gold color. This is nothing but the copper winding. It is nothing but the armature winding is wound on the armature core. And the insulated conductors are placed in the slots of the armature core. The conductors are wedged and bands of steel wire wound around the core and are suitably connected. This arrangement of conductor is called armature winding. The armature winding is the heart of the DC machine, from where we are going to collect the current. Whenever a coil is rotated inside a magnetic field, current will be produced. EMF will be induced in the coil. When it is connected to the load, current will start flowing through the load. So the armature is the heart of the DC machine. Armature winding. Armature winding is a place where the conversion of power takes place. On the armature core, the armature winding is placed, or it is wound on the armature core. It is the place where the conversion of the power, that is from the mechanical energy to electrical energy, this conversion of the power takes place. In case of a DC generator, here mechanical power is converted into the electrical power. On the basis of connections, the windings are classified into two types, one as the lap winding, another one as the wave winding. The method by which the winding is placed or the winding is connected, accordingly, this can be classified as lap winding and wave winding. Lap winding. You can see the coil starts from the commutator here. Coil starts from here. The end of the first coil is connected to the beginning of the second coil. You can see here the poles alternatively it is arranged here. The first coil means two turns it has. Two turns makes one coil. So with the brown color you can see it is a one coil that is connected to the second coil. Like in the continuous wave it is connected, it is called the lap winding. Here also you have the simplex lap winding, duplex lap winding or triplex lap winding based on how many times it is like this kind of turn. This you can see in the construction itself. Okay, without connecting here it goes another round, then it has got connected to the second place. So it is called a duplex winding. This is called as a simplex winding. There are only two coils passes through the north pole. You can see here north pole, here there are two set of. So it is the duplex lap winding. In lap winding the conductors are connected in such a way that the number of parallel paths are equal to the number of poles. So how many poles you have in your DC machine? According to that the parallel paths are divided. So based on the number of poles to accommodate to have so many parallel paths, accordingly the conductors are connected. Thus, if a machine has P number of poles, then Z number of conductors, then there will be the P parallel paths because it has the P number of poles. So, P number of parallel paths will be available. In each path, they will have Z by P conductors connected in series. Suppose there are 100 conductors are there. There are 4 poles are there. 100 by 4, 25 conductors per. This one per path, 100 by, that is 100 by 4. Conductors will be connected in series. Wave winding. Here you see here the one end of the coil is connected to the starting end of the other coil, which has the same polarity as that of the first coil. See, one end of the coil through the south pole, again it goes to here. To second end it is connected. You can see the starting of the first coil, it is the north pole, again it goes to the north pole only it has got connected. So the starting end of the other coil, which has the same polarity as that of the first coil. The conductor of the wave winding are split into two parallel paths and each path had Z by 2 conductors in series. So the number of brushes equal to 2. That is the number of parallel paths is equal to 2. So there coil 1 passes through the north pole. It is connected to the coil 2 which is under north pole only. Similarly, that will be connected to the coil 3 which is again under the north pole only. So there will be only 2 paths available here. So number of parallel paths here you can say it is fixed, it is 2. The commutator in a DC generator. The commutator which rotates with the armature is cylindrical in shape and is made from a number of wedge-shaped hard-run copper bars or segments insulated from each other and frame of the shaft. The segments form a ring around the shaft of the armature. It forms a ring. Each commutator segment is connected to the ends of the armature coil. From the commutator only through the brush the current will be collected. So the conversion of energy will take place in the armature. From the armature the current should be collected. So instead of directly connecting the brush to the armature, through the commutator it is connected. We'll see what is the reason for the purpose of the commutator here in the DC generator. So it is nothing but the commutator along with the brush it is shown here. So both the views it is shown. It is a simple view. So it is like the split type. Okay, here the brush is there. The purpose of the commutator, it connects the rotating armature conductors to the stationary external circuit. External circuit or the load is stationary one, but the armature is the rotating one. From the rotating one to the stationary part, the current should be taken out. The commutator serves for the purpose. It connects the rotating armature conductors to the stationary external circuit through the brushes. It converts the induced alternating current in the armature conductor into unidirectional current. So whatever is produced, it is alternating in nature. It will have the positive half cycle and negative half cycle. But ours, what we are going to have DC generator, we want the EMF for the current only in one direction. So to convert bidirectional into unidirectional commutators are used. So it converts the induced alternating current in the armature conductor into unidirectional current in the external load circuit in DC generator action, whereas it converts the alternating torque into unidirectional torque produced in the armature in motor action. Brushes. So when to collect the current from the commutator, so through brushes only it is connected. Carbon brushes are placed or mounted on the commutator, and with the help of 2 or more carbon brushes, current is collected from the armature winding. Each brush is supported in a metal box called the brush box. The brushes are pressed upon the commutator and form the connecting link between the armature winding and the external circuit. So from the armature winding to the external circuit to collect the current, the commutator along with the commutator, the through the brush only, it is connected to the external circuit. End housings. End housings are attached to the ends of the mainframe and they provide the support for the bearings. The front housing support the bearing and the brush assemblies, whereas the rear housing usually support the bearings only. Bearings, the ball or the roller bearings are fitted in the end of the housings. The function of the bearings is to reduce the friction between the rotating and stationary parts of the machine. Mostly high carbon steel is used for the construction of the bearings as it is very hard material. Next, last but not the least, the shaft. The shaft is made of mild steel with a maximum braking strength. The shaft is used to transfer the mechanical power from or to the machine. The rotating parts like armature core, commutator, cooling fans, everything is connected to the shaft. So it is the shaft. You can see all these with a inside hole. You can see all these will be connected to the shaft only. The armature core, commutator or the cooling fans, coil, everything is connected to the shaft only. So that's all about the construction of the DC generator. Thank you.